Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Ken Shreve here with a look at the action in today's session, Wednesday, October 4th, where we did see stocks rally as Treasury yields backed off a little bit, Ken. And I know you have the full breakdown for us, including some stocks to keep tabs on. What do you have for us?
Yeah, Treasury yields backed off a 16-year high. We had the dollar under some pressure, so tech stocks took that as an excuse to rally. We'll talk about the Nasdaq's 1.3% gain in a bit. Not easy finding actionable setups out there, but let's take a look at Paccar, PCAR. Also, I want to take a look at Tesla, which made a notable move today with a little bit of volume, it looks like. And finally, Duolingo. DUOL, name that I've been following, reclaimed a buy point today.
Sounds like a plan. Well, first, let's analyze the major indexes. The Nasdaq with a healthy gain today of about 1.4%. The S&P 500 up 0.8% today. The Dow up 0.4%, and the Russell 2000 still struggling, up 0.1% today, lagging the other indexes here. So percentage-wise, a nice gain for the Nasdaq, but it looks like we did not clear yesterday's high. So this was, even with the notable percentage gain today, an inside day. And it doesn't seem like there was a ton of institutional participation behind the gains today, Ken.
No, maybe I don't know if you'd call it lack of conviction behind the buying. I mean, volume did pick up the pace maybe a little bit during the final hour of trading or so, but it looks like we're going to get lower volume than what we saw Tuesday. So it was a significant move for the Nasdaq today, sixth day of the rally attempt as it holds this key 13,000 level. So we need to pay attention to price action like this. I mean, a 1.3% gain is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
It wasn't like our IBD growth screens were yielding new buys on all over the place. That was far from the case. There's been some damage done to the market over the past month or so that is kind of in the process of repairing. So good strong percentage gain for the Nasdaq. The dollar weak, bond yields under some pressure, like I said. So we'll take the gain.
Yeah, there's a look at the dollar backing off just a little bit there. We can also take a look at the 10-year yield, same for that as well. But if you take a step back, both the dollar and Treasury yields have been so relentless to the upside. And I know, Ken, you've been talking about how they seem like they're at levels where you would think they would start backing off, but I guess one could have argued that weeks or even months ago. So we can't predict where they're headed next, but we definitely are keeping tabs on this interplay between equities and what we're seeing with the yields.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of oversold things right now. The bond market clearly is very oversold. Now it's been oversold for a while. Could stay oversold. I mean, the TLT. Yeah, you can see the stochastics of the TLT really pointing toward oversold conditions where it's been, for several days now. So you did see TLT higher today. So a little bit of a rally in the bond market that caused yields to go down. But still there are still issues this market is facing. I think there are still challenges. We're going to just continue to monitor day-to-day price and volume in the indexes. Look for renewed signs of accumulation in the Nasdaq. Really didn't see it today, but it is encouraging so far, at least, that the index is holding 13,000 here.
It is. We can't really say the same in terms of holding the 927 low for the S&P or the other indexes. We did get an undercut yesterday, but a little bit of a rebound today, which also coincides roughly, Ken, with that 200-day line on the daily and the 40-week line on the weekly here for the S&P.
Yeah, S&P definitely on the weekly chart, very close to a longer-term support level here, which happens to correspond pretty close to that 4,200 level. So on the weekly chart, pretty close to a test of the 40-week line. And we go to the daily chart, we just look at the 200-day moving average for the S&P 500, and hasn't quite touched it yet, but kind of sitting right around that 4,200 level. So holding support for now. Pretty decent gain for the S&P 500 today because boy, of the energy stocks really got taken to the woodshed again, and there's a
Wow.
lot of energy names in the S&P 500. So it's a pretty strong performance for that index as well.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a look at XLE plunging 3.3% on the day. For the week, now down 5.3% and testing the 40-week line there as well. Ken, let's take a look at some stocks to watch, starting with PCAR, Paccar, trucker, and it looks like it's moving on up today. 3.1% gain in some volume and a nice RS line blue dot to accompany today's move.
Yeah, I was watching this one for a good portion of the day, along with my colleague David Chung. We're still in a market correction, so the market's going to tempt you. Maybe give some buy signals from names like Paccar. This is a truck maker. They make small, medium, large trucks. Their popular brands are Kenworth and Peterbilt. So you see all their trucks all over the freeways here. But look like an early buy signal today. Tried to pop over that recent high of 87. Closed just a little bit below it, but still a very good close for Paccar, up near its high, and volume picked up the pace considerably. I mean, heaviest for an up day in several weeks it looks like. So interesting action for Paccar. It's probably actionable today. The question is, do you want to be buying stocks during a market correction? And typically that's not a good strategy. So we're going to just wait and look for signs of strength in either the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, and once we get that sign of strength we're looking for, then maybe we'll start nibbling at some names like this.
Makes sense. Tesla also potentially worth a nibble today for more aggressive traders out there, with the stock up almost 6%. Volume picked up here as well, with the stock crossing some key levels on the chart.
Yeah, so the third quarter earnings estimates, Tesla's going to be coming out with earnings in a couple of weeks. They're going to be one of the first companies to report in third quarter earnings season. So estimates have been coming down a little bit. They just released delivery data that was a little bit below expectations. Some of their factories were closed down. That was part of the reason. But this was a very bullish move for Tesla today. And you also had higher volume. It wasn't huge volume, but it did pick up the pace from the prior session. It moves strongly above its 10-day, 21-day, and 50-day moving average today, all in one fell swoop. So arguably an early buy signal here, and you can see it has its sights now on that pivot of just below 279. So another stock that's holding up well here. The relative strength line is kind of creeping up towards highs again. So noteworthy move for Tesla. A lot of people are saying this UAW auto strike could ultimately be good for Tesla. These workers are asking for big pay increases. That's probably going to the automakers are going to pass those increases along, and maybe for higher priced cars. So who knows? Maybe that'll spur even more demand for Tesla vehicles. So
right, since it's not unionized.
Exactly.
Right.
And so it's looked like a buy signal today. We're just still dealing with a tricky market here.
Yes, but pretty clear level there to set a stop and manage risk with this trade today. Let's also take a look at Duolingo, which you mentioned you've been keeping tabs on. Relative strength is strong here with this name, up 3% today, getting back above the 162 level, which we've seen a lot of prior resistance. So that's great. But talk to this about a setup that maybe is still developing.
Yeah, well, Duolingo is a very, very popular brand. It's a kind of a fast-growing brand. Seems like everybody I talk to, I've used Duolingo before. It's just a language learning platform, and this is a stock that, while a lot of tech names have been kind of diving through support levels, Duolingo is still kind of trading around this double bottom buy point here of 162.20. So holding short-term support levels here. Rallied today, but really no volume at all. So had some good volume earlier in the week behind some up days. So I think the setup still looks good here on the weekly chart. Let's just look at the weekly chart and see. You made a really strong gain last week, and then look at the weekly bar this week, just kind of staying right there there, holding near that pivot area. So relative strength line in good shape here. Another stock outperforming the market. So I think it has the potential to be a stock market leader. We just need this market to sort itself out.
Muy bien, Ken.
Very nice. I like that.
Thanks so much. All right, everyone. That is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back with more tomorrow morning on IBD Live, and we hope you all join us, investors.com/IBD Live, for all the details on that. We will see you there, and we'll also see you right back here tomorrow at the close.